We're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. This is the Keeper's Corner podcast with your hosts, Matt Sterling and Brandon Brooks. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to another edition of the Keeper's Corner podcast. As always, Matt and Brandon here. And Brandon, I think we had a first in podcast history. I believe you've had this happen before, but this was the first for me, where I correctly predicted a score.
It's about freaking time. God, now you get to join the club.
Yeah, we'll ignore the part where I said it would be close and then Utica would pull away late, but...
Yeah, okay, you were a little bit wrong on that part, but, I mean, just as long as you... Listen, if you get the numbers right, it's all that matters.
That sounds good to me, because 10-6 win is a 10-6 win, especially when it's at Baltimore. It feels so much better.
Oh, yes. I mean, we have not seen double digits for us in quite some time. So being able to not only hit double digits in a game, but hit double digits in Baltimore, now that feels good.
That was probably the most dominant performance we've seen out of Utica at, I guess it's now Towson University Arena, since the playoff game where they went in there back in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a very, I mean, it was a very, I want to say dominant performance. There were some faults, but very much, I mean, I can tell you one thing. It's definitely a very different performance compared to not this past season, but the season before that one.
Mm-hmm.
Where, we had not had a single good game against Baltimore. And then to start the season winning against them. I mean, actually, it's even better than last season because we had our home opener, if I remember correctly. Or we had our first game against them last season and we lost. So this time we had our first game. It was technically our second game against them, and we came out with a win, a good win, a decisive win.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I will take that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of offense, very one-sided. We'll talk about the officiating because nobody seemed happy with it in the chat.
Nope.
On either side.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch this one live. I'm a really bad fan this year. I missed our first game and I wasn't able to watch this one live, but we were keeping up with the score, to be fair. It's just, we were actually in the odd.
That's what's going on.
And so it was just, we were keeping up with the game. We just couldn't watch it live. So I just watched it today, in fact, and was able to actually see what happened, and whoo, what a game.
Yeah, I'll say this. It was weird hearing the odd cheer and then not having some kind of goal celebration come after every one of them.
Yeah, cheering for very different reasons.
But let's get into it because this one was all over the place. And I'll say I had a tough time picking a play that changed the game because it kind of just came out. Utica, punched Baltimore in the face, to say it. And then more or less cruised to victory. But the play that I'm picking came in the second quarter. Utica's up 5-2. There's a quick counterattack. Coughlin comes out, makes a save right at the edge of the box, keeps it 5-2, and that's the closest that Baltimore's able to be the entire game after that.
Okay. All right. That's an interesting one. I mean...
Mm-hmm. There's about 6 minutes left in the second quarter there, You go into the half 5-2, you're feeling comfortable. 5-3, things are a little bit tighter. Maybe it sparks a comeback for the Blast, but...
So, since I kind of have to pick one, because you won't let me freaking leave without it, I actually have one, and it actually is also Coughlin. It's when Coughlin came out to take a shot. Came all the way to Baltimore's yellow line right in the first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not only did that show that, he was hungry, but it showed that he was confident not only in himself to get back, but in his team to make sure that he had time to get back. And that showed a lot of confidence from Coughlin that I really I thought that was,
especially on that small
field.
I
thought that was great. Like, that showed some serious cojones.
I think you just saw Ivan Munoz score against Mesquite down in Chihuahua and was like, I got to do that. Because don't think we talked about it at all, but the league lifted the ban on goalkeepers crossing the midfield line before the third quarter. So they can come up whenever they want.
Yeah, he got all those assists last season. He wants a goal. He wants goals.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But yeah, to me, that just exuded confidence from the team, which, I mean, at that point we were up, I believe it was 4-0 at that point. So I'm looking back and that was 1, 2, 3. We were literally up 4-0. So he had very little to lose by doing so, but it was definitely, the team seemed to take notice. Because, I mean, defense the rest of the game felt pretty solid for the most part. There were some foul-ups, but we'll get to those.
All right. On to the next thing. Let's talk about stats that tell the story. And, I took the lead on the first one, so please be my guest on this one.
I mean, remember how I said last game was rough? And, yeah. I didn't mean outdo it, guys. I'm sorry. I have to go with not only fouls, but penalty minutes in this game. Like, there was 21 fouls for Utica, 20 for Baltimore, 7 penalty minutes for Utica, 11 for Baltimore. We had, I didn't even count them. We had 1, 2, 3 blues, we had 4 yellows, and we had a red that I don't think should be a red, but we'll get to that. This was a rough. This is the kind of game that you expect to see from rival groups. Like, this is the rough and tumble kind of game that you expect. And boy, did they deliver. Holy moly. It was a rough game. That's all I can say. It was definitely a rough game.
Yeah, boy, we'll talk about the third quarter later because that's when the wheels really came off. Like, the first half was clean, but penalties were huge there. I mean, it started with a blue that Baltimore really didn't agree with, then the blue to Coughlin, and that brought out a whole bunch of other cards and more blues, and what a strange game it was there for a while. My stat that tells the story kind of has a fun comparison. You're not much of an NFL fan, but I know a lot of people are. And yesterday, the Vikings and the Raiders played a full game in which the score finished 3-0, meaning 1 field goal was kicked, 1 point scoring play, and an entire 60-minute
nearly
game.
Unheard of for a football.
Yeah, there was a point where they're like, it's been since 1948 since a game ended 0-0, or 1943 or something like that. 80 years almost. Utica scored 4 goals within the first 5 minutes of the game. And all of them came within a 2-minute and 23-second span. So Utica outscored 2 teams of millionaires that are supposed to be the best in the world at what they do. in less than a commercial break at the NFL level. We talked about the potency of this Utica offense. We were worried about the defense, but this, I mean, like we said, it's going to come from everyone. You had Steven with the wall of Scora. You got Taylor Walter Bond. You got Frank, who we told you not to worry about last week, getting the first of a hat trick. Gordy got his third on the season to cap it. Moh Ndiaye got involved with 2 assists. Roddy had an assist on this. And before you could blink your eyes, it was 4-0.
Yes, sir. And it came into play yet again about just when you talk about, not worrying about Frank. They were definitely worried about Frank because you could see the double, triple teams at times. And every time that something like that seemed to happen, we punished them.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's like eyes over here, and it's in the back of the net.
No, we have talked about how he's going to draw defenders away and open up opportunities, and boy, they made Quantrell Jones pay for it.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Boy, rough day for the guy who's starting his first game in the MASL.
Yeah, we did not ease him into it at all.
No. All right. Let's get into the nitty-gritty here with something that needs to change going forward.
Ooh, I got one.
Oh, you want to take this, and then I have to take the happy? Okay, fine.
Oh, yeah, I want this one, because I know exactly what needs to freaking change. Clean up your freaking passes. Just in the between the 11-minute mark and the 9-minute mark in the second, we had 3 giveaways. Just pass gone. We had Frank, who, and this is not included in those 3 that I'm talking about. Frank was trying to be kind of fancy and kind of twirl around someone, and he lost the ball. Not to throw him under the bus specifically, but that's one of the specific situations I remember. And then we also had a turnover in the third that produced a goal at like the 12:30 mark. Like, we had so many giveaways because of bad passes or just bad awareness of your teammates. Like, I know there's been a few changes, but clean it up, please, because you have another team. I mean, I'm amazed that Baltimore didn't capitalize more on it, but I think that's because we were able to collapse back with our defense.
Yeah. I guess mine goes hand in hand with that, because you're talking about cleaning up passes. Possession. We had again, most of our goals were coming on quick counter punches or set pieces, and there was a stretch early in the game where after Utica got those 4 goals, I don't think we possessed the ball for more than 30 seconds at a time the rest of the quarter.
No, we didn't. That was actually something I took note of myself, is that, possession time was very lacking.
Even the play-by-play announcer mentioned it and was like, Baltimore's had the ball here for like 6 minutes consecutively.
We're not going to talk about him.
Are we sure? Because without... Look, all I will say is somehow Tacoma couldn't get their stream to work and had, I believe it was the owner's daughter-in-law, live streaming on their Facebook page from her cell phone, and that broadcast was better than Baltimore's.
I'm sure you're not necessarily talking about the quality of the stream.
No, I'm talking about like camera choices and commentary and inability to like Brian Ackley's gone, so there's not even a debate of who the worst play-by-play announcer in the league is anymore.
No. And this isn't just coming from the fact that we are Utica fans and we don't like Baltimore as a, just, again, this all comes down to, being like on the field, we don't like them as a team. Otherwise, fine. They're still human beings. But there is not a more biased broadcast in the league than Baltimore. There was,
We assume we don't understand the ones down in Mexico. We're not fluent in
the ones,
but
that
at
we
least
can
they
understand.
sound excited when even the visiting team scores.
Yes. It made it extremely difficult to watch when basically Baltimore can do no wrong, and everything that Utica did, it should have been a higher card. Oh, that was a yellow, should have been a red. Oh, that was that was not a penalty, that should have been a penalty. But any time that Baltimore did something wrong and got something, I can't believe that they gave him that. Oh my God, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And then one comment that really ticked me off because it was so not condescending. What am I looking for here? Pot calling the kettle black. I can't think of the word right now.
Salty?
No. Basically,
whiny,
they
unprofessional.
I mean,
biased.
No, it's not bias. Basically, if they were in our shoes, they would be doing it. And the word just
hypocritical.
Hypocritical. Thank you. This is word for word. Utica came to play, celebrating goals and saves like it's the championship series. Andrew makes a save, and he's celebrating like it's a championship series. Somebody scores a goal, and they're celebrating like it's a championship series. You're going to tell me that if it was role reversal, that Baltimore would not be doing the same thing in every single game? I have seen it. I have seen it on the road. I've seen it at home.
I have watched their players stand on the boards at the odd. And we've said, you know what, maybe tone it down a bit, and I get it, but I didn't see nearly as much taunting out of the victorious team here today.
Gordy never shushed once.
No.
He never shushed a single time. So...
I saw one person complain that Frank told someone that was heckling him to shut the F up. And it's like, well, maybe he wouldn't hear him if you had more than 1,300 people in the stands and they could, drown each other out. Unless they're as loud as me, then I fully understand it.
And I didn't want to go on the rant. I wasn't even going to bring it up about the broadcasting. I wasn't, because I was trying to be respectful. But that comment in particular irked me to no end. It bothered me the rest of the game because of how hypocritical it was. So, yeah,
nobody plays the victim like the Baltimore Blast broadcast team.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
oh boy, did we get sidetracked off this one. But I fully understand why.
The last thing I will say is when they complained about, and I'm sure we'll get to this, the yellow that Andrew got, that he felt should have been a red for striking. They didn't have a good camera angle of it. So how are we supposed to be able to tell? Now, if I had to guess, yes, his hands may have come down on Donatelli's head, but it clearly was not with any intent.
No.
Nor was it probably all that hard, because he was holding the front of his face, not the back.
It looked like he got him kind of in the jaw.
Yeah. So
clacked his teeth. It's going to hurt. I fully believe that.
So when he complained later about the kick that either almost or grazed Wilkin in the face, and talked about how there wasn't any contact or anything like that. I can't believe that's a blue. It didn't even look like he hit him. Come on. You complain about it one way when it's beneficial to you, but when it's the other way, you, again, complete bias on the broadcast. And I get it. You're a Baltimore fan. look at any other broadcast team, and yes, they might get discouraged when the other team scores, but other times, if it's a really good goal, they're praising them up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is so okay. I'm done. I'm getting off my soapbox. I'm done. We got to move on. Otherwise, I'll just keep going.
All right. Well, we'll talk about a positive to take away from this, because there are certainly, the negatives of all the fouls, and the positive is you went into Baltimore. You won on the road, something that has been very difficult to do. Baltimore was 10-2 last year at home. They're now 0-2 at home this year. You have to ride that. You are on pace to tie the Comets next weekend as, for first place in the East, because Monterey went into Milwaukee, and even though they won, they dropped a point on the road, winning in overtime.
Yep.
And you put Baltimore as the worst team in the East with a -8 goal differential at 0-2.
Under Harrisburg.
The Basement Blast are sitting in 7th.
Love that name. And not just are they 0-2. They are 0-2 at home. That is some of the hardest defended turf in the East. And
I came on here in preseason. I came on here last week when we were talking and previewing this game. I was in the chat for Chihuahua and Texas, saying that the Blast are not as good as everyone thinks they are. Mm-hmm. They aren't as good as their playoff run where they got hot at the right time last year made them look. They are not going to be that good this year. They are a middle-of-the-pack team, and they have a lot of roster turnover, and they have a lot of drama going on around the team that messes with the chemistry.
Yep.
And all that comes together. And they're like, no, they're still a good team. That win for Texas was a quality win, And then Texas gets demolished at Chihuahua. Oh, it's just Chihuahua's a really good team, and they had a quality win, and then Texas loses at home to Dallas. Dallas, a team that won one game last year.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Maybe I might be onto something here. Potentially. If nothing else, Utica might have a year where we can say we get a little bit of revenge against our rivals.
You know what we can say? We are starting the year with a positive goal differential.
Yeah.
That was something we didn't have until... Actually, did we have a positive last year? No, we did not have a positive goal differential last year. So the fact that we are starting the year with a goal differential that is in the positives is awesome.
Yeah. They came in bunches. Utica scored 4 in a row. Then they scored 3 in a row. Then they scored 3 more in a row. You never let Baltimore get in this. There's a lot of positives to take away before you head into Harrisburg for 2 games this coming weekend. What are you taking out of this? Are you just going with the goal differential?
No. I am actually taking away a couple of things. And I'm going to talk about one specific player, and actually 2. Because one of them I keep singing his praises, and I never thought I would. But in general, the defense has actually been very strong. We obviously, rightfully so, had our doubts about our defense.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's been really surprisingly good. Logan, Moh Ndiaye, Rafa, I know he's not defense, but he's still part of the defense. He's still kind of part of that unit, being a midfielder. Nelson. Who else am I thinking of? Hundell, especially. Wanalava, that whole squad. Gio Alves, he's been another one that's been fairly decent on the defense. Like, these guys have been aggressive on defense. And to highlight one specifically, freaking Nelly, man. Like, I watched him in that game. He was extremely defensive or extremely aggressive. In the one early on, Baltimore had a top of the arc because we had a 3-line violation, and he knew exactly where to move. He got right up in their face as they received the ball. Like, he was pressing forward. He knew when to break up plays, passing lines. He's got great field awareness. He's just a menace. And frankly, I think the main reason I never really noticed it up until now is because it was just such a frustration going against him. Mm-hmm. And now actually taking the time to sit and watch him on defense, I've come to an appreciation of it. So I will say this right now. If he ever goes somewhere else, which, I mean, in this league, people move around all the time. Yeah. But, if he goes back to I doubt he's going to go back to Baltimore with everything going on unless they really clean things up over the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. But if he goes anywhere else and we have to play against him, first of all, that freaking sucks because it's going to be tough to deal with him. And number two, I mean, he's just an asset, honestly. But he's not the only one. Because the other one I want to highlight is Rafa. I've talked his praises in the past as well, and he's just another one. He had a great breakup in the goal box that potentially saved us from getting scored on. He had that great pass
where he saved Wilkins, and then not 5 seconds later, that's when Wilkins gets the ball slashed foot to the head.
And then he had he just had an amazing pass at the beginning of the second from him to Ronaldinho. Like, just again, he's another one that's really coming into his own this season. We didn't get to see much of him last season, or really much at all. At least in the past couple seasons, but this season he's starting to be utilized more, which I love to see. Mm-hmm. And he's showing that he should be utilized. Like, he's good. And so, I mean, it's great to see. And of course, I mean, Coughlin just had an awesome game as well. I mean, he was on point. And the confidence, like I said, that he just exuded from him. So overall, just, a few highlights that I really had to point out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a well-rounded game. Utica gets the victory 10-6. Unfortunately, we have red cards, yellow cards, all kinds of stuff to talk about in that third and fourth quarter.
You get a card, and you get a card, and you get a card. Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. I guess we'll start at the beginning of that with where, to me, it really seemed like it went off the tracks, and that was where Gordy gets clipped in the arm, and I mean, clearly it was a foul. They awarded a blue card. The officials reviewed it. David Bascom, head coach of the Blast, was apoplectic that it was even called at all. Our voice that we just love to hear was like, he didn't even get fouled. He just flopped. That was not. It was a dive. I mean, great acting, but man, he didn't even touch him. And it's like, are you watching this replay? You can see him get slapped on the arm.
Yeah,
because Jamie Thomas had his left arm up in the air and brought it down right onto the upper arm of Gordy.
And don't get me wrong, Gordy is a good actor.
Mm-hmm. There probably was a little bit of I'm like, okay, I don't know if I would have given a blue there, unless they're giving it because the goal scoring opportunity got broken up, but it's definitely at least a foul.
Yeah. Oh, 100, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, they would have argued it anyway. So I mean, anyway.
And less than a minute later, after Utica has opened it up to 7-2 at this point, and in my mind, like, game's over. It's 7-2. Baltimore hasn't shown anything. Nilton just megged a defender and your goalkeeper to score from a set piece. The double meg, how rare is that? Not that rare, because we saw it happen earlier in the game,
I was going to say, it's not that, apparently not that rare.
The social media team for Utica, on point there on Twitter. They were like, Baltimore, close your legs.
Yeah, they were not happy about the ball going through people's legs. Not at all.
It was like watching croquet. They were just going right through the wickets. But less than a minute later, you have that Coughlin penalty. And let's be clear. I fully agree with the blue and the yellow. He came out, he made a play on the ball, which he is allowed to do. It's in the box.
Yep.
He missed.
Yep.
He made head contact with the head. Absolutely. Penalty shot? Absolutely. It's in the box.
Yep. Wholeheartedly agree.
Do I think there was intent? You could see it on Coughlin's face that he was mortified.
Oh, yeah. He
just kept going, my bad, I didn't mean it, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, he was...
Like, you could read his lips.
Yeah, I mean, as it was coming down, you could basically see him just panicking inside, and there's nothing he can do about it because momentum is a thing.
Mm-hmm. And then on the opposite end, you end up with Bascom getting a dissent for yellow for dissent. Probably because that's a red, needs to be a red, blah, 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 blah.
I honestly
Same thing we heard.
I figured he got the dissent because he followed the ref around the field.
Yelling at him. About, yeah. And then you have Juan Pereira, who gets bench misconduct, a yellow card for getting... That's actually how his name is pronounced according to the pronunciation guide.
All right.
We've been saying it wrong for years as Juan Pereira, but it is Juan. Or Juan. Who... First man off the bench, automatic yellow card.
Yep.
And you can go back and watch the replay. And it's like, I'm looking for him on the field. Okay, Donatelli's down. There are 4 guys standing around him now. Where is Pereira? Because you can read his lips on the close-up camera angles where he's going, I was on the field. We watch you walk out of the bench. They open the door for you, and you walk out onto the turf.
Yep.
Oh, that was just the dumbest yellow card you could possibly get.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. You know, when tempers fly, you don't really think about it, and you just run out there. I mean, we saw it with Pogba when we had our little scuffle with Harrisburg back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But
I want you to watch this because it is like it's not like an immediate thing. It is 3, 4, 5 seconds later.
Yeah.
Like all you had to do was stay on the bench, and you're not getting more in trouble.
Nope. And yeah, all you had to do is stay put.
Yep. That took a long time to get sorted out. And 2 minutes later, you get Rafael Araujo with a blue card because he connects and Wilkins goes down, grabbing his head. I agree that it should not have been the yellow, not a major penal penalty, making a play on the ball. And it's not like he punched him. It's like where Wilkins' head was close, but I'm not going to give Araujo like a dangerous play on that. His foot wasn't like above his waist or anything.
Yeah.
It was just trying to clear a volley. On the replay, it does look like he gets the ball. And then where you see Wilkin grab his head, he grabs the top. So if he gets clipped by Araujo, it's the toe of it, just the toe is coming around the ball and getting him.
Right.
But I do believe a lot of that was the ball.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
But again, limited camera angles, not enough to say that the foot doesn't hit him as well.
Right.
That's the problem. You have 3 cameras. None of them are good angles in there because you're not allowed to have... It's not big enough to put them at a lower angle. And they're very, on top looking down. I mean, that third quarter took forever because of all these penalties.
Oh.
And then the fourth opens up with a yellow that we don't even see.
And is not even spoken of.
No, they just kind of go, more strangeness. Mike Diesel getting a yellow here in the fourth for player misconduct. No, it's for dissent, not misconduct. Good for you to know the difference, but...
Yeah, it was a crap show. All right. The game in general was,
yeah.
It was a crapshoot. It really was. And I mean, it's somewhat of, I don't want to say it's what we've come to expect from Baltimore Utica, but it's definitely, it just shows that the rivalry has been renewed.
Mm-hmm.
Hot and heavy. And I mean, frankly, I love to see it, but it's still not exactly what you want to see.
No, it's one thing to be competitive. It's another thing to have stupid fouls like the red card that NDI gets.
Yeah.
And that one, I understand why the ref went to a red card immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Because the way that, I think it was Araujo again, responded, looked like he got hit in the face with a cinder block.
He did.
And then we watched the video, and it's like, I don't think he did a whole lot. More of the bumping came from the stomach.
Oh, did you? I will tell you right now, I slowed that down to 0.25 just to see exactly what happened. Do you want to know, or were you able to determine what happened?
I watched it twice, and I was like, there's barely anything there.
All right, so basically, from what I could discern, just so I make sure that I'm not wrong, it was Araujo, correct, that he fouled? Yes,
I believe so. Yeah.
I just looked at his pit. Yes, it was him. What happened is Moh was walking towards Araujo. Araujo stopped. Instead of continuing to walk backwards, he stopped and held his ground. And because of that, Moh did not apparently anticipate him stopping, and he walked into him. There was no forward motion of his head exclusive from his body. He literally walked into him. He pressed his nose. It looked like the bridge of his nose went on this guy's forehead. And then it looked like he got shot.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about a flop, that's it right there. Now...
No. Gordy's the only one that flops.
That's true. Yeah, of course. There was definitely intent there. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't necessarily intent for the headbutt, but there was intent to get in his face. And, I think in order to, as you said, basically diffuse this game in general, they had to issue that red card. But I think that really needs to be reviewed. I keep waiting to see what the review is going to say, and there's been no updates yet online. I do not, and that's not just because that is, a lot of people might say, oh, well, that's just because he's Utica. It wouldn't have mattered. That if you watch it back and you look at it from the perspective of somebody who's actually looking for a foul, that was not – it was definitely not the worst hit of the night. That is for sure.
They finally got it updated. They didn't have it at 6:30, but it's finally there for all the penalties and fines. So, from this game, holy crap. Mike Diesel, Baltimore, undisclosed fine for yellow 1. Juan Pereira, undisclosed fine for yellow 17, severe unsportsmanlike conduct. David Bascombe, undisclosed fine for yellow 1, dissent. Rafael Araujo, undisclosed fine issued by the DRC for embellishment. They slapped him with a yellow. The review committee reviewed the red card of the alleged headbutt. After review, the DRC has unanimously agreed to reverse the red card issued. There was no evidence of violent conduct or an actual headbutt witnessed during the confrontation. They've also unanimously agreed to issue the penalty point and fine against Araujo for embellishing. Both players are eligible for their next game.
Fantastic. That is more than I could have asked for. The fact that not only did they reverse the red card, but they slapped Araujo with embellishment. It was so blatantly embellished. Oh, my God. Oh, justice.
Beautiful.
Justified.
Did you ever watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Very, very little. I've only watched literally maybe 10 episodes.
Do you know just the little bit from a cold open where Captain Holt gets proven correct on something, he just goes, vindication!
I think I've seen the clip.
That is all I'm feeling right now. We were both so right on this, and the committee actually agreed. Yeah,
and just, wow. The fact that Utica came away from that game with nothing. Nothing. No red card, no fines, no nothing. And Baltimore is just slap, 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 sit down.
Let's get a quick snippet of that and go throw that over on our social media channels to let the fans know. To be clear,
for people who are listening, we're just reading this. This is just coming out.
That was the first time I've read that.
It's been checking. I can't say that I had, but has definitely been checking. As the stat man,
I've been hitting refresh on that every hour.
As the stat man should. So. That is phenomenal. Oh
my God, that's gorgeous.
Moh Ndiaye, vindication.
Now I'm really sad that I did not go buy that cake today, because I have had my cake with this game, and now I really wish I was eating it too.
Oh man, that feels good. Oh, that feels good.
New power rankings are also out as of an hour ago. And Utica has moved up from 7 to 5.
You know what?
We have leapfrogged the wave.
It's just we're having a good start to the year. I'm not going to jinx anything. It's a good start to the year. Let's just enjoy it. Let's just ride it while it's good. Good times are being had. And that's all I'm going to say about it. You are literally putting that post out right now, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
You are tight. I literally went to Twitter.
Clack.
I went to Twitter. I'm like, where is it? Because as soon as you put it out, there it is.
There it is.
Let me just repost that.
Let me go over to...
Like I said, during this live...
I'll be honest, I was flying really high on Saturday night after seeing the score and being like, I got the correct, and then watching the game and how kind of, like you and I had in our chat, how rough it was listening to in the fourth quarter. I don't know if I'm excited to talk about this anymore, but right now that joy's back.
Oh, yeah.
That sweet, sweet schadenfreude.
Oh, I mean, again, yes, we're super happy because it's Utica, but it's the right call. I mean, the fine is just over and above. Like, that's just above and beyond what any expectation that I would have had. But the reverse of the red, it is the right call. Just based on the evidence. If you look at just the evidence of what happened, that is the right call. There's no other outcome that could have happened from that. So, yes, he was out for the rest of the game, but he will not be out for the Harrisburg game. So, fantastic.
That was fantastic.
You are ecstatic. You can't even talk right now.
There have been a lot of times where, like, we have to wait for the DRC to come back, and usually we're on the same side where we end up being correct. But for that one, not just getting it rescinded, but the embellishment finally getting added onto one of these things.
Yeah, just, again, getting that tacked on. Yes, please. More of that. Glorious. Anyway, you want to get this thing back on track?
Oh, yeah.
Where were we?
I don't even remember. We were talking about how everything went off the rail. I believe that was the last thing.
We were literally just talking about the red card.
Red card. Yeah, that was the last thing to talk about where everything went off the rails.
I mean, was it off the rails? I mean, it was and it's not. I mean, it's
that was kind of like the culmination.
Yeah, let's go
of
with
everything.
that.
Okay.
All right. Let's bring it back.
We are going to bring it back. Yeah, we are. And now we can look forward to this weekend, because that gets rid of a major concern of roster depth.
Yes, because, I mean, again, we were just talking about how Moh has been very much a hefty part of our defense this year.
Yes.
Again, alongside, Nelly, Juan, everybody that we've talked about, but he has definitely been somebody who has made opportunities. He has been really good on our defense. He's been an asset, and to lose him already for a game, even just for a game, is like, it would have been difficult. So
yes,
just fantastic. But anyway,
yeah. Other than that, we go to Harrisburg. 2 games this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I'm still trying to get fully back focused.
I can tell. So I guess one more quick thing, since we're still kind of on the subject of Baltimore.
Yeah.
I know we talked about a certain goalkeeper, and I don't want to take the wind out of anyone's sails, but all I will say at this time is go look at the transactions and see who they play this weekend.
Oh, yeah, I know. At the moment, that certain goalkeeper and other player that were sent to the upcoming Blast's opponent is they're both listed as inactive.
But
so
still.
We'll see.
Even so.
Oh, my God. Could you talk about a revenge game? Like, we'd have to send cake to those players so they could have it and eat it, too.
Believe me when I say I'm sure that Empire is doing everything in their power to get those 2 playing this weekend. And that is all I will say, because there's been no official announcement made. However, it is on the transaction list, so it's fair game.
Yeah. All
I'm still leaving some mystery to it. Anyway, back to Utica.
Utica's upcoming games, Saturday will be at 7:30 p.m. on the MASL 3 channel on Twitch, and Sundays is at 5 p.m., and that will be on MASL 5.
And y'all better be on your best behavior. No idea why. Anyway.
I mean, we just saw the Heat a week ago, beat them 7-5 at home. They played the Comets, and the Comets handled them 7-3 at the oh god, what's the name of their arena? The Equine Arena.
Yes, the Equine Arena. Correct.
At the Farm Show Complex. That's what it is. I'm sorry. Did Pat Healy play himself this weekend? Will he be back in the lineup?
Why is he listed?
That's weird. That's got to be a typo on the stat. No, I had to check his... Because I went to see how their game went against Kansas City.
Yeah.
And, usually when a coach gets a yellow card, it will say who served the yellow card for them.
Mm-hmm.
And this says that the bench misconduct was served by Pat Healy. And I think they meant to write that Healy had the yellow card and someone else served the penalty.
Yeah, because... Yeah, you don't know. No.
Dupree, Ramirez, Williamson, Floppin' Francis.
Did you just call him Floppin' Francis?
Yeah, that's his name.
But I like Dominic Francis.
You got Dupree Madonna and Floppy Francie.
I can't talk crap about Dominic Francis. I can't do that. He's a nice guy. Come on, leave him alone.
I'm sure he is. But if we're going to talk about the league's best floppers, he's right up there with Gordy and Na Arujo.
I don't want to agree with you because I like him, but I know you're right.
Go back and watch that video from the last game where he doesn't get touched and then does a somersault drawing a blue card.
Being right.
Dang
it.
These teams always play each other hard.
They do.
And without all the outside issues that Baltimore has, I would not be shocked to see a split this weekend.
Really?
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't put it out of the possibility. But I do think Utica should, if Utica lives up to what they expect themselves to be this season, they can't drop points against Harrisburg. They should win both these games, but it wouldn't surprise me if Harrisburg were to steal one at home.
Yeah, I think if they're going to do it anywhere, they're going to do it at home. Now, I say that, but they stole one from us last year on our turf. So,
yeah, which I'd completely blanked from my memory.
Yeah, I didn't call you out for that. Nope.
Nope. But last year, down at Harrisburg, Utica 6-4. Let me find where the other games are. Utica 4-3. And is there one more? 6-5. So they were all 7-4, 6-5, and 6-3. So most of them were close when they were playing at the Equine Arena. Not sure what Nate's injury is or when he will be back. Isak, we won't see for a little bit. He has a fractured ankle.
Yeah, definitely not going to be seeing him for a bit.
He'll be he's in a boot. You figure 6 weeks for that to heal, then a couple more to get back to game speed. So maybe the end of January, early February. We'll have to see how everyone's doing.
Yeah, I mean, there's already some people out. That's why it's we don't need more.
Predictions for this weekend.
Oh, am I going first?
Yeah, you might as well.
So, I think you're full of crap. and I think that we're going to sweep the Heat. Again, it's always going to be wishful thinking. I say this almost every time. Of course, it's wishful thinking, but given our track record with Harrisburg, now granted, we haven't played this Harrisburg at home this season,
right?
But if the Comets can beat them 7-3 at home, we can beat them 7-3 at home. So at least one game, I will say Saturday, 7-3.
Okay.
Sunday, I'm going to say it's a more defensive affair. And I'm going to say we win by a point. I'm going to say it's going to be 6-5.
Okay.
Still a high-scoring game, but it's going to be a more... I shouldn't say... I mean, it's going to be offensive, but it's also going to be defensive. You know, it's going to be... I'm going to say, one team, potentially actually, I'll say potentially us. We come out ahead early, and then they sneak in a few later on, with weapons like Joey and Obasi, and Francis, and my mind is blanking. Just they have an arsenal too, and you can't write any of them off. So I think that they come back, but I think we ultimately come out of the weekend with 6 points. So 7-3 and 6-5.
Okay. I'm going to kind of take the back reverse. I think the first one's going to be more closely fought. 5-4 Utica.
Okay.
Sunday, I think, is going to be opened up a little bit more. 6-3. Both teams are going to be slower because they usually are on a back-to-back game. But it should open up things for quick counterattacks, and that's where Utica seems to thrive right now.
I thought you said Harrisburg was going to take one.
No, I said I would not be shocked if they take one. And I will cut the tape back and play it if I have to.
So you're saying that they could potentially steal one, but you're still saying Utica's going to win.
Yes, I expect Utica to win, but I would not be shocked if they lose. Tonight's Monday Night Football is Tennessee and Miami. And I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, have been for 20-something years. I fully expect this team to get killed in prime time. But if there's one thing that the Titans have done over the past 5 seasons, it's win games that they have no right to even be in by 20 points. So I wouldn't be shocked if they pulled off the upset.
Okay, but you're still betting against them, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. Fair enough.
So we both have Utica coming away, getting to 4-0 on the season, hopefully at 12 points. Monterey plays Chihuahua twice this weekend, so there's a chance Utica could jump them. And the Wave play Friday, and I think that's it. So all 3 teams will have played at least 4 games at that point, and we'll see how things are shaking out in the top of the East.
Yes, sir.
These are some early games that, depending on who drops points against teams they should beat, Milwaukee having to take overtime against St. Louis, stuff like that could end up having playoff implications.
It absolutely could. It could come down to a couple points here or there. So, no, it could. These early, what's the word I'm looking for? These early overtime wins and losses can have, as you said, playoff implications later down the road. Really can.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. But hopefully, the next time we're at the Odd on the 22nd, Utica will be 4-0, have 12 points, and we'll be looking to have a repeat against the Blast for a Christmas present.
Boy, that would be nice.
All right, Brandon, anything else you want to add tonight?
Oh, Utica, just please, just keep it up. That's all I ask. Mm-hmm. Like, you're looking solid. You're making us feel good. Just keep it up. That's all I want.
I hear you.
That's all I want for Christmas.
All right.
And socks.
And socks.
I haven't said it once. So
you
socks.
Haven't. All right, socks. With socks being said, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I barely use Threads because nobody seems to interact with us on there. So until Twitter dies, we'll have Threads as a backup, I guess. We did finally get onto YouTube Music last week now that they accept RSS feeds. So hopefully that'll just automatically upload new episodes for us. Otherwise, Amazon, Spotify, most of you listen on Apple Podcasts, and until it dies, Google Podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, I do have to say you lucked out. We did not reach the 100 listens.
How close did it get?
We got to 66.
It still makes it before the end of the season. I'll still go.
Okay.
I'll leave it open. Like, if anybody actually goes back to listen to that episode just for the sake of sending me to Baltimore, I will still honor it. For Gordy. For Gordy.
For
throwing me under the bus.
Look, at 66 lessons, it is our second most listened to episode ever. Third, if you want to include the fact that the Tim Goldman interview we put on YouTube has like 300-something watches.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm totally down. If it can make it up there, then I'm more than happy to. Well, I don't know about happy, but I would still honor that. Absolutely. For fans of the podcast, yeah, you betcha. You betcha.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. 2 big games this weekend. Let's be positive in the Twitch chat. And go Utica.
Dogs!
Thank you for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast on whatever podcast app you use. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to interact with us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it. We have a TeePublic shop where you can get UCFC player swag or help support the podcast. Thank you. We appreciate it. And one last thing. Go Utica City.